Oguswa or her Lawson TV Pro Max. Nyaka LGBTQ there, nipa. Ne ho adwene about Team Fest our Ghana ha wako. Sabaya ebe sorry etia LGBTQ practices no. Sam George. Honorable Sam George. MP for Ningo Pram Pram. Ono ana odimu akotene pa. Na meka se CNN for interview no. Na interview no memo watie interview no. Na enkrofo bi nso ede bill parliament so mbagi atum no ekokota na nka omo hwe se nkasa bill na ebesori etia LGBTQ+ no ke be boss bill na to ago na so court abo omo dwumadi a wode ba court no omo bo agu kra nti kwan mu ada ho se president bia betimi assign bill na fi asase ayedwuma question is na do dan kwa kuvuado obesign ni ansa no akọ anasa we die obedoje boko no waja ama Mahama yenkoti Vim Lady and Sam George emrasisia.
So finally Ghana anti-LGBTQ+ law no ebeba be yedwuma because say Supreme Court nipa me no omde case no to Supreme Court anim say Supreme Court no enchirase no mu nyina hu say law na parliament a pass no etia LGBTQ+ no etia Ghana constitution because Ghana constitution teach you article 17 is say there shall be no discriminating. Say yenye yimu yenye hwehwe animu enye bibi ntia obi say nipa no sexuality ana baby o free so yo ba o ye be ma na ade nti omo de court enim ene judges na etina case nso ne nyina no call one oma no call benkrum ato case na twene nti na say kwan da ho ti say motorway ma president oti akonya so na na Danko Akufo-Addo so betimi assign law no na afi de ye de aye adwuma open so a obegya ato ama incoming president oba president Mahama say ono no family adwuma but president Mahama ho obi aka dada say law no de omofo aso say what they dey law in adwuma baby I was say careful no ya TikTok no social media no because once I section 10 of the law o say wo be cross dressing a wo adwin say person dey dada nkofo na ma LGBT ne ya akono e ma nkofo be dem nti mo amote TikTok teacher ni ade a be ma no address it to so oba any idea na you are at risk of this law because law no foforo inti abey ye be try say ye be test law no ye be cheche nkofo de omako court nti wa out TikTok na o ye be ma boys and baby o TikTok mo ye mema no address it them ma manye careful mo so bloggers na mi dey na de bia na mo dey sa nkofo cross dressers bi na mo promote omo law na wo mu say wa be promote wa be use platform say TV radio online platform bia as a wo dey share home crime wo tab posti LGBT niema wo say ya akono ye fe no so be kwakodem kan hu say between 6 months and 1 year be kwakodem serious o am say fresh law ye tested that into the agro na ye tested law near the ofra na say jail na o kono and this is a law gramofo Christopher bia jitum say law o say pass o mani abro ho to the agro do we skip go the kwakotum in fact section 6 no eso ka say mema me no kra ebefe o manu anti what ya mom by na president Akufo-Addo before be kofie no o sign pe na just 30 December mo mbeba 30 December na mbo mo adwene say mo be fefe man because law no section 6 no ka say mema me no kra fefe o manu in public and social media na makachem dada say social media platform e public in the eyes of the law no emrano fan say social media ni na e bedwum e public into ko tre video no why video na be ma fe be ma no we fi public e be twa session say so be kwakodem uko use dildo dien o de coffee for baby uko ye bj mo bi na e cho obedem law we no and the man law we hu ni say before law we be ba no anti LGBT plus law no be ba na ye wo law ho dada obema ne obema koda and the Ghana old criminal act 1960 no illegal dada but we no we biem entinya de obekwakwofo obi to keke de obekwakwo yusu dildo ube yusu vibrator ube yusu dien bibia ta homa phone kra na vibrating na do kotu obi ahem a wo no committee offense law no cross dressers ka ho wa bekwakwo tina social media be post content bi e fa ho mu nyina obedem nti hwe yie na yamfa wa anye scapegoat dirty December utwitwe bi now take care right betimi akoye niam bi ye law no say ya pass it. And the fact that judges name this is not the first time okay say one day section 104 criminal act no court no justice kulendi or share that Ghana shall not or share that in the capital they say who say Ghana judges no mumpe to manya cat alone the mama na age my be man age my name who also protect on because a chewa
where LGBTQ
this
rights
is about
are legal.
Ghana, sir. This is about Ghana, sir. So let's focus on Ghana.
Well, if this is about Ghana, then stop trying to import American values into the reasoning of Ghanaian legislation.
I am not an American. I am an African. I'm from Kenya.
Well, Kenyan values are not the same as Ghanaian values.
Why are you pushing this bill that would legalize hate and homophobia in Ghana?
It's a bill to promote proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values. If you have another bill you're talking about, then maybe you've got the wrong man. But if you're talking to me about the bill I'm sponsoring in Parliament, is to promote proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values.
What are these Ghanaian family values in your mind, sir?
The right Ghanaian values, customary value into society. Ghanaian culture.
These members of the LGBT community we're speaking to, sir, are also Ghanaians. They're also Ghanaian. They are part of Ghanaian culture, and they're saying they're gay, they're transsexual, they're bisexual. They are also Ghanaians.
Some of the individuals who were involved in planning terror attacks in America are American citizens. Is it American culture to kill people?
Damn! That's a false. That's yeah, boy. That's a false. That's not the same comparison. But what I want to focus on here is
it's not the same comparison. You are telling me that because we have people who are carrying out an activity that is illegal per our laws already, and our culture frowns on it because they are found in our jurisdiction. That is our culture.
There were many things that were illegal that are unjust.
Innocent children and teachers.
Honorable MP, there are many things that were illegal, that were unjust, and those laws were changed because they are unjust.
Well, laws are a reflection of society. Until 1960, American society did not find women fit to vote. And so women did not vote there. When they found them fit to vote, society evolved. Society evolves. At this point in time, the Ghanaian society is in a position where it says it is not welcoming of homosexuality. And any other person must respect the views of Ghanaian society. That is the system, that is the society of Ghana.
What's your reaction to the members of the LGBT community, sir, that we've been speaking to who tell us they're afraid for their lives when this bill passes, if this bill passes, that they're afraid to even leave their homes?
Well, anybody who is engaged in an illegal activity should be afraid of the law, shouldn't you? The United States in 2021 remains the most dangerous place for homosexuals.
Sir, this is not about the United States. This is about Ghana. This is about Ghana. This is about Ghana. So I want to focus on Ghana, sir. Hang on. Let me ask the question. Let me ask you the question, sir. This is about Ghana. You are, as part of this bill, legalizing conversion therapy, which UN experts consider torture. Do you believe that homosexuality can be medically treated?
Wait for it. Here it comes.
Tell me how individuals who are born men and decide to become women, is that torture? Because I don't see how different hormonal treatment is from what you call conversion therapy.
Is not the same as conversion therapy. These are very, very different. This is a false equivalence you're making, sir.
No, what's the difference? I would need for you to
I am not a medical expert, but it's been by UN experts who look into this have considered conversion therapy as torture.
Expert, Larry, if you're not a medical expert, and I'm saying to you that we've spoken to the experts here in Ghana, and there is nothing different because conversion therapy is a hormonal treatment. And I'm saying to you that when individuals choose on their own volition to change their sex, they undergo hormonal treatment. Men go and take estrogen shots to be able to develop female features. And that's the same thing.
That is not the same thing. That is not the same thing, but I want to move away from that because you talked about the United States. You talked about the United States. This American organization held a conference in Accra in 2019, and shortly after, you introduced a bill with the same language, including family values. So you're influenced by a right-wing organization, which is considered one of the most hateful organizations exporting hate around the world. Is that correct?
It can't be farther away from the truth. Larry, I was never, myself and none of the 7 other colleagues of mine was at this conference. In fact, this conference came to my notice after the CNN's David Mackenzie asked me about it. have had absolutely no contact with the World Council of Families. You describe them in the way in which you want to describe them. But we also have groups from the United States that are supporting LGBTQ rights, which is illegal in Ghana as we speak right now. Section 104 of our Criminal Offences Act makes it criminal. They're already trying to also influence Ghanaian stuff. This bill is in direct response. You say there was a conference here in 2019, a conference I'm unaware about. However, this bill is and I made a statement on the floor of the House in February, and my statement was clear. It was in response to the opening of an LGBTQ plus advocacy office in Ghana in January. That was supported by members of the diplomatic corps.
So you want to make it difficult for anybody to live an open, free life because of who they love in Ghana, and you want them to go to jail for 10 years. You're happy with that?
Well, you haven't read my bill. It's a misinformation to say that anybody who's found guilty of a homosexual act to go to jail for 10 years. That's a misconception you're peddling, and you should not do that.
They can go to jail up to 10 years. This is just one of the many penalties that is in the bill, sir, that you're encouraging Ghanaians to report anybody who is suspected of being LGBTQ. Is that correct?
Larry, I would advise that you do a job at what you're doing. Okay, if you want to put a spin on a bill, right?
Nice.
This is my bill that I've passed before Parliament. I'm going to read to you section 6.3 of the bill, or clause 6.3 of the bill, or 6.2 of the bill. A person who commits an offense under paragraphs A, B, C, D, E, F, G of subsection 1, which is the section that lists all the offenses, commits a second-degree felony and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not less than 750 penalty units and not more than 5,000 penalty units, or to a term of imprisonment not less than 3 years or not more than 5 years, or both. So when you talk about 10 years imprisonment for persons engaged in homosexual activities, you are misleading the world, and that's unfortunate.
All right, so you think, okay, 10 years is too much, but 5 years is perfectly fine for somebody who's gay in Ghana to go to jail.
Well, that is the punishment for a second-degree felony in Ghana. And the activity of homosexuality is a second-degree felony.
Honorable George, are you just a hateful person who does not want people who are different from you to have a life in Ghana?
That is a defeatist approach to ask me a question, a defeatist line of questioning, that I'm a hateful person. If I'm a hateful person, we will not be protecting the rights of persons with LGBTQ and saying that you should not, they have a right. They have a right to a fair trial before the competent court of jurisdiction.
What would you do, sir, if your son or daughter was gay?
Well, thankfully, I have 2 sons and a daughter, and none of them is gay.
That's not the answer. What would you do if one of them was gay?
You're asking me to go into the world of abstracts. I'm a lawmaker. I deal with specifics. I deal with specific stuff. I don't deal in abstract. Maybe you should be talking to a storyteller or something.
Will you take responsibility if, because of this bill, people who are going about their lives are attacked by Ghanaians or are harmed because it's legal to do so, or people have been encouraged to do so, or are suicidal for that matter, take their lives because they can't live in that society?
Well, Larry, let me answer your question. Earlier when I was telling you that this year alone, as of June this year alone, 21 persons had been attacked and killed in the United States, where LGBTQ rights are legal.
This is about Ghana, sir. This is about Ghana, sir. So let's focus on Ghana.
Well, if this is about Ghana, then stop trying to import American values into the reasoning of Ghanaian legislation.
I am not an American. I am an African. I'm from Kenya.
Well, Kenyan values are not the same as Ghanaian values. We have different values. I didn't say into Africa. I said into Ghanaian values. I'm a Ghanaian legislator. And just so you know, I represent a community or constituency that has 2 traditional areas. Before agreeing to push this bill, I met with my 2 traditional councils. I am a representative of the people who voted for me. The people who voted for me, the 2 traditional councils said to me, this is against our culture.
The people who voted for you, Honorable George, and I have to go, the people who voted for you, of all the problems they have in your constituency, is this the major issue for them? Is this the thing they're most concerned about?
Well, this is one of the major issues for them, because the government of Ghana in 2020 spent $200 million subsidizing the cost of antiretroviral drugs for persons who have HIV/AIDS. The Ghana AIDS Commission is telling us that men having sex with men, MSMs, homosexuals, are leading the surge in HIV prevalence in Ghana. $200 million could have fixed the water problem in my constituency.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, Sam George.
Why are you running? Now, after NDC, when in December 7th, John Dramani Mahama, as a second time, ɛna nsɛnkyerɛfoɔ ekobusa Sam George Sam George sɛ LGBTQ nsɛm yi Mahama grant interview bi ayan sɛ dɛ hunu deɛ ɔka yɛ sɛ wanse nkran bi sɛ ɔba ɔbɛgye bill yatum ama bill na ako atia LGBT na yɛnkɔtie asɛm a Sam George ɛde bae yɛnkɔtie.
Lastly, on the LGBT issues, I mean, if you get a nod, how far would you hope to push it? The president, your candidate, when he was interviewed on the BBC, he said he would now look into what is in that bill.
You know, that's a misconception that's been put out. And I listened to that full BBC interview. President Mahama has been clear that he will sign that bill, and he has no option than to sign that bill. President Mahama will know no peace from Sam George until he signs that bill. And he himself has said that to the clergy, that as a Christian, as a member of the Assemblies of God Church, he will sign that bill. What the president said to the BBC was in response to why President Akufo-Addo has not signed the bill. And he said to them, look, what you, President Akufo-Addo, should have done, instead of rejecting service of the bill, was to have received the bill, stated what his displeasure is with the bill, which is what the Constitution says. The Constitution in Article 1067, President Mahama in his response to the BBC was referring to the Constitution of Ghana. Article 1067 says that when he gets to the president, he must within 14 days indicate whether he would sign or not sign. If he chooses not to sign, he then has to bring it back to Parliament and then state in the memo to Parliament the reasons why he's refusing to sign and add the recommendations to remedy those challenges he sees. Otherwise, within the 14 days, he can refer it within 30 days. He can refer it to the Council of State, who have 30 days to give him advice. That's what President Mahama was saying in that BBC interview. He was not saying that he now has to read the bill. President Mahama has read the bill. It's because he's read the bill that he told the clergy that when he becomes president, he will sign the bill, because President Mahama has no problem with anything in the bill. That explanation he was given was basically what the president should have done as a lawyer in line with our constitution, because the president's decision not to have service of the bill on him is unconstitutional and shows you how reckless and irresponsible Akufo-Addo is as a president.